Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Elizabeth Myers. I am the Executive Vice President of the US Halal Consultants and also the Director of the Summit for the Halal Expo USA 2021. We're here today in one of our monthly webinars to talk about some great developments, to welcome you also to our this year's expo, which is going to be something different, and also to highlight a new partner that we're very proud to have with us. Before I get to that, I would just want to say US Halal Consultants is the only group of consultants that is dedicated to the halal market in the US. And we have about a dozen or so consultants with us who are experts in their fields, which include they are academics, they are business leaders, they are company CEOs, they are lawyers such as myself, and the notion of halal is a healthy lifestyle. So we cover a number of different areas, not just food and beverage, but many things like tourism, cosmetics, all kinds of areas and sectors that make up the enormous multi-billion-dollar halal market throughout the world. We also offer trainings. We are working right now on a training for FDA compliance. That's the Food and Drug Administration. We know that in recent years they have become very vigilant in auditing and potentially finding, and with potential criminal ramifications for failure of compliance for companies bringing in food products to the United States. And we will keep you apprised on developments with that. One of our expert consultants is a certified trainer for the FDA Foreign Suppliers Food Verification Program. Very sorry, the pandemic requires us to keep working at home, and I'm afraid that you're probably hearing dogs in the background, so my apologies. In our monthly webinars, we've covered already a bunch of subjects, including regulation in the US, by both the FDA and the US Department of Agriculture. We've done a program on how to start a halal business. We have talked about certification and verification, two very, very important aspects of the halal market. And those are primarily to provide confidence in the consumers that the products that you are purchasing are halal, whether products or services. And finally, we've talked about raising capital for a halal business. So what I'd like to do now is introduce our two guests we have with us today from the Malaysia External Trade Development Corporation, also known as MATRADE. We're very pleased to have you with us. They will be partnering with us on the upcoming Halal Expo and Summit. And so first we have with us a trade commissioner from MATRADE. She's a trade commissioner based in New York. Her name is Diana Talit. She's been a trade commissioner in New York for the last 2 years. She was previously a trade commissioner in MATRADE's Paris office, and she has been with MATRADE for over 15 years. So welcome, Diana. And second, we have with us Mr. John Maloney, a senior marketing officer with MATRADE, also based in New York. And he's been a marketing officer for 17 years. Previously, he worked with construction material companies, dealing in window shades and floor coverings. And he is a graduate of the State University of New York in Buffalo. So welcome to you, John. And now let me turn the mic over to Diana. I believe you're going to talk a little bit about Malaysia and MATRADE, and Malaysia being a leader in the global halal market. And it's a very large halal market, and we're looking forward to hearing more about that.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth, for the introduction. And thank you very much to US Halal Consult and US Halal Expo for this opportunity, giving us the opportunity to use your platform to introduce and talk about Malaysia's halal. Basically, I'm just going to introduce a little bit about our organization, which is MATRADE. Our job here is to help a Malaysian company to promote their businesses into the US and also the the market that we cover is also Canada. Um, in US, we have basically three offices. One here in New York, LA, and as well as Miami. Um, as you understand, Malaysia is one of the leader in halal in the halal industry. So my colleague John will give the audience the full presentation about the halal market in the event that we're going to organize, which is MIHAS 2021. I just want to stress here that our job here, we are here to help any American company who wish to know or who wish to do business with Malaysia. We are here to help, and please do contact us. Without further ado, I would like to pass the mic to my colleague, John Melody, for the full presentation. Thank you. Over to you, John.
Well, thank you, Miss Diana, for the introduction, and thank you to Mrs. Elizabeth for having us today. We're very excited to partner with the US Halal Consultancy, and we look forward to working with you going forward. We're very excited about this opportunity. And hello to everybody out there. Thank you so much for joining us and showing interest in the Malaysia halal industry and MIHAS. We're very happy to present this to you today. So if you give me a second, I'm going to share my screen with everybody.
And while you're doing that, John, I'll just encourage those in the audience, if you have any questions, please write them in the chat or in the comments, and we will get them answered in real time. So feel free to write any questions you have.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's begin. We're calling this Malaysia spearheading the global halal industry. Miss Diana already went over the basics, but again, we are the national trade promotion agency for the country of Malaysia. Every country has a promotion trade agency. The U.S. is U.S. Commercial Service, for example. But we are the one that is responsible for promoting Malaysian products and services to buyers throughout the world. And we truly are global. We have 34 offices, along with 12 marketing offices. So no matter where you are, we easily have someone for you to talk to. The key ones for North America that you'll need to be aware of, the New York office where we're located is responsible for the eastern half of the United States and Canada. Over in Los Angeles, we have an office responsible for the western half of the United States, west of the Mississippi River. And we have an office in Miami, Florida, that is responsible for Georgia, Florida, and the Caribbean. If you're not sure who to talk to, do not worry. Reach out to us. We'll have our contact information at the end of this presentation, and you can we'll point you in the right direction. A little bit about Malaysia for those of you who might not be too familiar. Malaysia is a multi-ethnic, majority Muslim country located in the heart of the Southeast Asian region, a population of over 32 million. The breakdown is about 65% Muslim Malays, 25% ethnic Chinese, and 10% Indian Hindu. So it is a majority Islamic country, but it is a open multi-ethnic society, which is something Malaysia is very proud of to tout to the world. GDP growth obviously took a hit in 2020, as everybody else's did due to the pandemic, but we expect a 4% rebound for 2021. And the GDP per capita for Malaysia is a little over 10,000 US dollars, which puts us solidly in the middle class of global economies. Malaysia is located in the heart of the ASEAN region. And for those of you not aware, ASEAN is the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. It is a trading bloc with 10 member states, which comprise over 655 million people and a total GDP of over 3.1 trillion. Anybody who's interested in entering this market can definitely go through Malaysia. We're strategically located right in the middle of it. And for those of you who should be aware that Indonesia is the largest population Muslim country in the world, Malaysia has free trade access to that. Also to mention, Malaysia is a 6-hour flight from most of China, from India, and from Australia as well. It's very strategically located. Trade is a huge component of what the Malaysian government focuses on. Trade is a huge part of the GDP. So we have a very open, business-friendly environment, and we look to foster it, especially in regards to what we do here with the United States. The United States is Malaysia's third largest trading partner. Meanwhile, Malaysia is America's 18th largest trading partner and consistently a top 15 import source. Last year, even despite the pandemic, bilateral trade between the two countries was over $56 billion. The main areas of where Malaysia exports to the United States is in regards to electronics and components, especially semiconductors. Malaysia is the number one semiconductor source for the United States, and also rubber products, which with the pandemic that's happened over the past year and a half, Malaysia is the largest source of rubber gloves for the whole world. So we've been happy to be part of it, assisting largest source of rubber gloves. I'm sorry, I'm hearing feedback. I'm sorry. The largest source of rubber gloves in the world. So we've been very proud to help out in our little way the frontline workers combat the pandemic. The big focus for the Malaysian government has been halal. It is part of the identity as an Islamic nation, and helps be in the forefront of a burgeoning global halal economy. And Malaysia's focus through the government actions has always been to put itself at the forefront. We are proud to say that we believe, and the rankings will show, that Malaysia is the hub for global halal commerce. And here is the proof in the pudding, so to speak. This is the State of the Global Islamic Economy Report. It's issued every year by Dinar Standard in conjunction with Salam Gateway. Basically, it is a benchmark ranking to evaluate a country's Islamic economy, to determine the countries that are best positioned to address the multi-trillion-dollar global halal economy. They have various metrics that they weigh in like 8 different areas, which include modest fashion, travel, food, and beverage. And we are happy to show, get out of here. Get out of here. Thank you. We are happy to show that for the 8th consecutive year, and it's impressive because this report's only been out for 8 years, Malaysia is the number one overall Islamic economy. We lead in Islamic finance. We lead in halal food. We lead in travel, and we lead in pharmaceuticals and cosmetics. All of the words here you see have been taken directly from the report about our consistent growth across all sectors, that we are a leader in Islamic banking, and we are sending out finance graduates around the world to help grow the Islamic banking industry globally. And in 2019, World Magazine had us as the best country to invest or do business. Very proud of this report, very proud of these numbers. It establishes us as officially the hub for global halal commerce. These are the rankings right here. As you can see, there's a number 1 over here. Number 1 for halal food, Islamic finance, travel, and pharmaceutical cosmetics. Number 2 behind United Arab Emirates for media and recreation, and we're 4th for modest fashion. But overall, we're the key place for halal, for the halal economy, and we work to help it grow throughout the globe, and it is burgeoning, and so we're happy to be the tip of the spear, so to speak. This is very clunky. Let's not get too far into this, but basically, this is just to show this is truly a national endeavor of how Malaysia approaches halal. Everybody from the industry players to associations to government agencies is involved in pushing forward and helping move the global halal economy forward. The key ones for your reference, the MATRADE, that's us. The Halal Development Council, they also work to promote Malaysia's halal endeavors across the world. And JAKIM. JAKIM is our certification board for halal, and one of the key points was to establish it as the official halal certification, where all other global halal certifications follow suit. And we believe that's been the case. Over 84 halal certification bodies throughout 46 countries in the world recognize Malaysia's halal logo. It's a brand recognized throughout the globe. The US in FANCA is the halal certification body in the US, and they recognize the Jakim's halal certification. Over 7 billion in product for halal exported around the world in 2020. Pretty impressive considering the pandemic that caused so much problems. So it was a dip, but it was still a good, healthy, robust 7.2 billion. We're very focused on making sure that Malaysian companies are halal certified. Over 8,300 are certified by Jakim, and almost 2,000 of them are exporters, which means that for any buyers looking for halal products and sources, we have almost 2,000 companies that can send you product. Another thing I also thought was interesting to point out, Standards Malaysia, which is our national accreditation laboratory, established the first pharmaceutical standard for halal in 2012 and the first halal medical device standard in 2019, just to show how much we are continuing to push the envelope, so to speak, and continue to grow and develop the halal industry. And just some overview of what we've been sending out. Most of it is in food and beverage, and it should. We have tremendous cuisine, and the food products are the top of halal certification. What I also did want to point out, though, is the halal ingredients. They show the box, and yes, food is important as far as halal ingredients for food manufacturers to make sure that their products are halal certified. But it's also for cosmetics, personal care, pharmaceuticals. We know plenty of companies that utilize Malaysian-made gel caps for their vitamins, so they can have some halal certification. So when thinking about everything that Malaysia sends abroad, it's not just food and beverage, but it's also halal ingredients. Palm oil, for example, it's not just cooking oil. It is used in manufacturing for petrochemicals, but also for soaps, and cosmetics, and shampoos, and items like that. So that's a key focus for us, is also halal ingredients besides halal food. The centerpiece of our efforts to establish Malaysia as the key hub for halal global economy is MIHAS, the Malaysia International Halal Showcase. It is started in 2004. Malaysia took it over, but took it under its wing in 2005 to help grow and promote it across the board. And we can safely say now that it is the #1 trade exhibition in the halal industry. Obviously, we did not have an event last year due to the pandemic, but in 2019, we attracted over 30,000 visitors and produced over 380 million US in total trade. This is a truly global event. It's not, although it takes place in ASEAN region, we've had pavilions from Canada, from Africa, from the Middle East. It is truly a global phenomenon. So obviously we did not have it in 2020, but we are introducing it for 2021 in a hybrid style. We will have a physical show on the 9th and 12th of September, but there will also be virtual components which we want to talk to you about. First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a very brief promotional video about the 2021 event, which will also show some of the virtual components that we are introducing to this event. All right. So what we are doing applies to both buyers, companies that wish to purchase halal from Malaysia, and also companies that produce halal products that wish to sell to to the company's visitors that come to this event. What we used to do and look to do again in 2022, um, we would have buyers from around the globe come to Malaysia. We take care of the hotel and in-house transportation and give them passes to all the conferences. And we would also set up a day and a half B2B matching session, where almost like a speed dating in a way, where based on what the buyer who was visiting was looking for, we would line up companies for them to meet. Obviously, due to the continuing pandemic, we cannot do that. So what we have done is to introduce this sourcing program in a virtual capacity. So we started in early April, and this continues all through August. So if you are looking to source Malaysian halal products and services from Malaysia, we will be more than happy to help you. All you would need to do is reach out to our office. We would send you a buyer's form. It's very straightforward. We just need basic information, and then also there's a sheet that has codes for the products and services you're looking for: biscuits, confectionery, fashion, or whatever it is. Send it back to us, and we will provide you with a list of meetings with the Zoom links. And the key thing, the two things that need to be stressed on this is the time will be convenient for you. We're not going to have you meet with somebody at 3 in the morning, especially if you're on the East Coast of the United States. It's a 12-hour time difference between here and Malaysia. So you can be assured that any meeting that we set up will be, you will have last, approval on it to make sure that is the time that works for you. And it is free of charge. We are more than happy to do this. And you can meet with as many companies and as many industries as you want from the comfort of your own home or office, whichever it happens to be. The component for the companies that are looking to sell into this market, and again, this is the #1 halal industry trade show. And again, some of you have probably been there, some of you have probably already exhibited. Thank you, and we look forward to having you again in 2022, God willing. But what we're doing for this year is we're introducing a hybrid component, which means that you will get a virtual space. We will provide that. We have templates. This is an example, but there are plenty of them that we can offer to you. And the key thing, the two things that should be pointed out: live chat, not so much, unless you are doing this in the evening if you're in the East Coast, because of the time difference. But there's the microsite, which is when the company clicks on the site, the visitor clicks on the site, it will take you to all your information, where you upload all your information, and the show organizer will help you with this. It will help you onboard you, so you can upload all your company information, all your brochures, all your product list, price list, videos. If, for example, during these shows you usually did demonstrations, you could record the video and upload it, and it would be available for anybody who comes visit. And then there's the key parts right here for a visitor, which is live chat and book now. If they want to meet with you, they would just click on the button. And this is part of the MIHAS Connect part, which is a platform that we are providing for visitors and exhibitors, which is basically if a visitor puts in certain products that they're looking for, this program, this platform will email them a list of exhibitors that are in the area that they're looking for. And then they can go right to the site, and then they can connect with the exhibitor. This is an example of your schedule. So you can let any visitor that's looking to schedule a conference with you, it lets them know when you're able to meet with them. So for example, again, with the time difference, you can schedule anything in the evening that you want in these companies, and then you can meet up with the companies. You'll get a notification about 15 minutes before the event happens. The meeting happens. You just click on the video icon, and then you'll have your video meeting with the interested visitor. So MIHAS Connect is very focused on making sure that everybody meets based on what they're looking for. And again, this is we have more information on this. There's a presentation deck that we're more than happy to see process works. Many of you have virtually exhibited before. Maybe you're familiar with this type of program, but it's a really cool bells and whistles that are added to make the exhibitor experience, since you're not actually there, more productive for you. This offers the opportunity to reach out to all of these buyers, not just for the couple of days of the actual physical show. This booth will be available 24/7 for the next 3 months starting in September. We are offering this to global sellers for a cost of $300 US. That's it. That's for all 3 months. And so if you're interested, please contact us. And we'll get you the form, the space exhibit form. The deadline is August 21st, which gives you plenty of time to review it and ask any questions that you have. I'm sure you do. But this is a really neat system that I think that they've come up with to make this event about as interactive as it can be on a virtual platform. To also note, we want to invite anybody to also participate as a attendee, as a visitor. This is an example of the virtual lobby for those that would sign up. I do not know yet what the cost is. That has not been put up. I don't expect it to be too much, considering it's virtual and you don't have to hop on a plane and get a hotel and all of that. But it gives you access to everything that you would get should you have attended the show. The conferences, one of the biggest draws for this is that this is the halal industry show. So there's going to be all these key issues that are going to be discussed on these conferences, and major players in the global halal industry that are going to have these discussions. I know Myanmar, some of you are probably familiar with them, the frozen food manufacturer in Iowa. They have been our guest speakers on many occasions for these events. So you will still have access to these. They will stream live over various platforms like Vimeo and YouTube and Facebook, and they will still be available to you to view at any point in time over the 3 months. There's also a network lounge, depending on the timing. You will be able to enter. It's kind of like this, chat room, large chat room, and you can meet and talk with other attendees and exhibitors that happen to be virtually hanging out, so to speak. And you will have access to the exhibition floor, and you can visit any booths of any companies that you want, like I showed you earlier with the microsites and the Microsoft Connects. You have all of that available to you as a visitor. So we encourage you to also sign up as a visitor and attend virtually MIHAS in 2021. And again, hopefully in 2022, we'll actually see you there. And that is basically it. This is our contact information. So if you have any questions in regards to MIHAS, in regards to being part of the sourcing program, in regards to being an exhibitor attending, or anything else in regards to something that you are looking for from Malaysia, please reach out to us. We are more than happy to help you out. And with that, we thank you again so much for taking the time to hear us out, and we welcome any questions and comments that you have, as I will now officially stop sharing.
Thank you very much, John. That was extremely enlightening and a very impressive presentation for your impressive event. I don't see any questions as of yet, but we do have somebody monitoring that. We have Marwan, our president, in the background, fortunately keeping us on track. So I'm very interested in this is now a 17-year-old, MIHAS is 17 years old if it started in 2004. So you have obviously grown enormously. And one of the things that we're looking at for our own expo and summit is to make it more than just a 2-day thing. And so I'm intrigued by how long have you been doing a longer sort of run up to it? How effective has that been? Do businesses like that? Has that been effective in developing trade, where you have a booth available for 3 months after the expo and the whole what did you call it, the international sourcing program, the lead up to that? How does that work, and how has that gone? I think you're on mute, Diana. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yep.
Well, with regards to the like John mentioned just now, it's a hybrid. We started doing this, the virtual part, the online part this year, but but as far as the physical component of it is concerned, we have been around, have been growing years on years since 2014. Sorry, 2004. The virtual part of it we started this year. So far we don't know yet the what they call this, the outcome. We don't have a record.
Mm-hmm.
We will only know after this year, and then to compare with the following year. So if you're talking about the hybrid part of it, we don't have a record yet. I can't say for
right
now. Yeah.
We're all in a way flying blind. Circumstances have kind of forced a lot of people to do these type of events in this type of format. And for us, MIHAS being a tent pole of what it is we do here, we're interested to see how it goes. This is why we put so much effort into this, the virtual components of this event. We're excited to find out, I'll tell you that.
Right. Well, it looks like we do have a question here. How many U.S. companies currently export halal products to Malaysia?
We don't have that number, the number of company offhand now, but we can certainly share this information later on. But we don't have this offhand, the number of U.S. company export to Malaysia as for now.
We would, what we focus on is what goes into the United States from Malaysia,
right?
Not vice versa. We can certainly look into it and get back to the questioner about that. We'd also recommend the U.S. Commercial Service, which is responsible for helping U.S. companies export. That is also information that they might have as far as like which halal companies are sending product to Malaysia.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, that makes a lot of sense. U.S. Commercial Service has services all around the world in each country, and they're usually very effective at that. So let's see. You have I want to ask a little bit about standards and certification for companies that wanted to perhaps export. Obviously, they need to be aware of the JAKIM standards. What about them should they know, and what other issues should they be thinking about if they want to export products to Malaysia?
Well, like you just said, firstly, they need to be recognized. They need to have this JAKIM Halal certification. That is the first thing they need to do. Otherwise, they won't be able to be accepted in the Malaysian market. The other thing that they need to know is, as far as JAKIM's Halal certification is concerned, if they are an American company, they can do that. You can get the certification from INFANCA, because INFANCA is the one that is having a collaboration or being certified by JAKIM. So I guess this American company can get that certification from INFANCA here based in the US.
Okay, so an INFANCA certification would be recognized by JAKIM. There's some kind of reciprocity there.
Yes.
Okay, that's good to know. We have another question here. Do you know if there are any tax advantages for companies to work in the Malaysian market? I'm not sure if that means tax advantages in the home country or whether that means like tax incentives perhaps to work in the Malaysian halal market.
Yeah, I mean, from the perspective of if you are opening up your factories or regional center in Malaysia, there is some incentive given by incentive given by the Malaysia Investment Development Authority, MIDA, which is the uh, agency under the Ministry of International Trade and Industry, agency which is responsible for the foreign direct investment into Malaysia. They do provide giving, I mean, some kind of tax incentive. So I hope this is what the question is referring to.
If they are, we're more than happy to point them to direct them to MIDA. They're right downstairs from us. They're kind of like our sister organization. Like we help bring products out of Malaysia around the globe, and they help bring in investment into Malaysia. So they have tons of information as far as all the myriad of tax advantages and abatements that they give to companies looking to set up in Malaysia, which we recommend. Again, reach out to us and we will easily point you in the right direction. There's plenty of things that MIDA offers to companies.
And the pandemic has created logistical problems, obviously for companies that are trying to move products around the world. Tell me a little bit about Malaysian ports, or what avenues are there for companies to be able to move products in and out of Malaysia?
We have there are several ports in Malaysia. The major ones is Port Klang, which is located in the Klang Valley. It's not far from Kuala Lumpur. Port Klang, the West Port, that is in the state of Selangor, and the other one is from the northern part, located in the northern part of Malaysia, is Penang Port, and the port of Tanjung Pelepas in Johor Bahru. That is located in the southern part of Malaysia. These are the major ports that bring in all the products from all over the world.
I mean, look, everyone is dealing with this issue. We talk to importers, exporters. I wish we had a silver bullet or something like that to solve the issue. Currently, that's not the case. We've spoken to major logistics distributors like UPS, and they're not anticipating improvement until after the holiday season. Obviously, it's something we keep an eye on because it obviously affects what we do. When everything is normal, Malaysia has a bustling logistical infrastructure and port system. So we definitely get stuff out, and we will again. We're just dealing with what everybody else is dealing with right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So I was intrigued to hear that the US is Malaysia's third largest trading partner. Who are the first two? What countries are the first two?
China.
Okay.
Yeah, China. The first one is ASEAN as a region. The second one is China. Yeah, and the third is the US.
All right. That's pretty impressive, though, that the US is that large a trading partner. So I guess I will encourage our audience to submit questions. Now is the time you can get your questions answered in real time by our guests from MATRADE. We have Commissioner Diana Talit with us, based in New York, and also Senior Marketing Officer John Maloney. So please feel free to send us your questions. I'll just note that we're very pleased to be able to work closely with you all this year, really for the first time. It's exciting, and certainly trade is a two-way street. The halal market is enormous on a global level. It's Malaysia being the leader and the global hub is also very impressive. We have a lot of potential here in the US, and the US Halal consultants are here to help American companies take advantage of these opportunities that we're learning about today. So feel free to ask your questions. So let's see. There's so much that you can talk about in the halal market. What are the you showed us your chart, John, but what are the biggest opportunities for American companies to participate in the Malaysia halal market at the moment?
Elizabeth, I'm sorry, you were breaking up.
Oh, let me try again. So I saw your great chart there about the various sectors and what percentages they were, but it was a bit small to read. But I'm asking, what are the greatest opportunities, perhaps, for American companies to participate in the Malaysian halal market at the moment, and looking forward?
Okay, I'll take that. Well, the chart show. I mean, the key thing about the I'm not which chart you were exactly referring to, but when it comes to the key areas that this report measured, and the big areas that Malaysia ranked number one in had to do with food and beverage, had to do with pharmaceuticals and cosmetics. Again, I think I made the mention about like how many manufacturers utilize the gel caps to make sure that their products are halal. We're really the banking thing's very interesting. We think there is a burgeoning, continuing market as more and more Muslims spread out throughout the globe and all that. We think because Malaysia is very focused on Malaysia banking. Maybank is one of the main banks in Malaysia that maybe people have heard of. We think banking is a very interesting, robust area for American companies to get involved in. But food and beverage always, because Malaysian cuisine is so varied and diverse, and it covers so many bases. But another one I want to mention also is fashion, because that's an area that compared to the rankings, we weren't number one in. But there is definitely a halal fashion, the Muslim fashion market, definitely in Malaysia, and always looking for U.S. companies to work with, to partner with. So I think that would be my three areas: would be food and beverage, banking, and modest fashion. Ms. D, any comments on that?
Yeah. I echoing what you just said. The main one is the food and beverage. So, the American company who wish to export or get into market of food and beverage in Malaysia. So those are the what do you call this? The sector that is the most promising, and as well as the food ingredient. The John mentioned the halal gel and all that, which is you can use for the product. I mean, for halal food. Yeah.
Yes, wonderful. One of the things we're looking forward to doing in our Expo and Summit in October is to have some cooking shows that certainly focus on halal ingredients, and I'm sure that we will have some Malaysian ingredients to go in there too. I love Malaysian food. We do have a question here from Lena. It says, how many US halal companies are you targeting to the Malaysian seller, and how many Malaysian sellers are being presented to US buyers? I think that is talking about the MIHAS program.
We would like to get as many as possible.
All of them.
All of them.
Definitely would like to have as many as possible American company that wish to join us in MIHAS. So Malaysian sellers, not just specific for American buyers. We don't have we are looking certainly the numbers are more than 300 companies that either physical or virtual that we are going to they're going to participate in MIHAS for this year.
Yeah, that's great.
And as 2019, we brought in 30,000 visitors. So we certainly hope to reach that number again through the hybrid format. And as far as like specific, in meetings, as far as like the sourcing is concerned or something like that, it kind of all depends on the product. Like if you're like looking for cookie companies, we can have you talk with companies for the next 3 weeks. I mean, we got a ton of them. So it all depends on availability, schedule, and the type of product you're looking for. But basically, it comes down to anything and everything. We are ready to accept any and all comers, basically.
Well, cookies would be exceedingly special, given that Eid al-Adha is coming up very soon. That would be the time to to eat a lot of cookies. We have another question about the types of halal products that are in great demand in Malaysia.
Well, I think we just answered that. The food products,
food and beverage.
Yeah, food and beverage, your cookies, and your halal cosmetic. If there's any company who is into halal, producing halal cosmetic, that would be great, because the Malaysia, like John mentioned just now, Malaysian are about 60% are Muslim, and they're quite, how would I say, what is particular about the source of their what they put into their body. I mean, in the cosmetics. So halal is a good potential there. Halal is cosmetic, and skincare is pretty good potential.
Right. Good. Excellent. Let's see. I'm still encouraging questions from our audience. What would you like to see? One of the things that we are trying to do with our Expo and Summit is to encourage innovation and entrepreneurship. What, if anything, is Malaysia focusing on in terms of encouraging entrepreneurship or innovation in products, development of new products, sort of thinking out of the box?
Well, in terms of you talk about innovation in doing business, one of it is that Malaysia is going big now is the e-commerce. So there is a lot of incentive from the government. Our collaboration, we also collaborate with the likes of Amazon or Alibaba.com to help Malaysian companies to be present in this kind of platform. That is for the purpose of selling our Malaysian products out there to the world. So as well, for example, MATRADE is also giving some kind of incentive for Malaysian company to be listed in these e-commerce e-marketplaces. Yeah. So in terms of innovation, there are organizations that will help companies to help with their production, and also incentive given by various agencies to help companies to improve their packaging or product formula. There are lots of incentive in programs being presented and offered to the Malaysian company.
So things like professional training programs and
Yes.
and marketing and use of the internet and all of
Yes.
that.
Exactly.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yes, I think e-commerce certainly is where a lot of businesses and a lot of brain power really for innovation is going. If you see all the development of apps that are happening, it's pretty incredible. I think that the pandemic has taught us that e-commerce is a lot more reliable. Well, maybe not a lot more, but more reliable than actually having a brick and mortar business that people have to walk into. So, but hopefully we'll get this under control soon. Another question we have: do non-food products need to be halal certified for the Malaysian market? That's non-food products.
Non-food product, for example, like cosmetic, as long as it touch the body, something that you consume, or it touch the skin, your body, it needs to be certified halal. Other than that, there is no requirement for halal. For example, I don't know, any components or electronics or any machinery. It doesn't need to be certified halal. Anything consumable that touch your skin, it has to be certified halal.
And when dealing with consumer products into Malaysia, I mean, even if hypothetically you would do a non-halal product, you would be excluding 65% of the market, because there are Chinese and Hindu in Malaysia that don't practice. But you'd be missing out on the majority of the chunk of the market. So it is in the best interest to make sure that there is halal certification for, again, a consumer retail product. Like the boss said, if it's like, semiconductors or whatever, then that doesn't need halal certification.
Yeah, but if you were marketing investment or banking or services that do have sort of requirements of ethical principles that follow from Islam, then yeah, it would make sense to have it certified. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is one of our components, is the financial aspect of the halal industry. So mortgages, investment, banking. Just only two weeks ago, we had the launch of the very first Islamic bank in the United States, called FAIR, and that's going to be an interesting development to see how that works out.
Yep.
How about we have another question about the halal tourism industry in Malaysia? Can you tell us something about the halal tourism industry?
Personally, I don't have this information offhand right now, but we can we can give you the answer, because we need to get this is under the Ministry of Tourism Malaysia. I personally don't have that information offhand right now. You can supply you with the information later on.
Yeah, but clearly it's something that would be prevalent for Muslim-friendly family kind of holidays, to have resorts that don't serve alcohol and things like that.
I can attest, as in my trips to Malaysia, I jokingly referred to it to my friends as a Muslim Disney World. Because if I was at a resort, I took some time to stay at a resort, and it was nothing but Muslim families, just getting away, usually from the Middle East and all that stuff, and enjoying their time in Malaysia. They all went to Legoland. There's a Legoland in KL and all that stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I love Lego.
Yeah, it struck me as a place where, a lot of them wanted, a great getaway destination for halal practicing families and all that, because of the fact that it is a predominantly Muslim nation. But it also has amazing cuisine, amazing beaches, resorts, golf, if that's your thing. Yes, we have an organization called Tourism Malaysia. So we can get a whole bunch of information in regards to anything specific in regards to halal travel with that. But we're number one on that for a reason.
Yes, absolutely. I was very, very close to coming to Malaysia one time. I was actually in Singapore, which for a business meeting, and I extended for a few days. And I was told you could just get on a boat and go for a few hours and you were in Malaysia. But unfortunately, I didn't have the time to do it.
You don't even need to go to a boat. Just either bus or taxi. Just cross over to Johor Bahru,
right?
Malaysia.
Yeah, but the boat was the scenic route,
Yeah, of course.
I have done that along the Malacca Straits. Very nice.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Very well. We'll have you there. We'll work on getting you there.
I can't wait. Can't wait. So, what else do you think that? What else have we not touched on that you think American companies should be interested? I mean, your presentation was fabulous. I would definitely go to MIHAS this year. I would like to go in person rather than virtual. But what else? What else would you like to tell American companies about that?
About MIHAS?
Yeah. What should really engage them to come?
Well, the engagement to participate, again, is if this is your industry, it's kind of like We've been working with Malaysian furniture companies to come to an event called High Point, because if they want to address the North American furniture market, this is where you do it. If you're an electronics company, everybody goes to the CES show in Las Vegas because that's where you go if you are involved in this industry. So, what I wanted to make clear in the presentation and in this discussion is that if you are in the halal industry, in the halal market, MIHAS is where you really need to be. All the buyers will be there, all the exhibitors will be there, and I also made a point to mention the conferences because all the key issues in the halal industry are discussed, and they are discussed by the key global players in the halal industry. So it's basically, FOMO, fear of missing out. Like if you're in halal, this is where you need to be.
This is the big event.
Yes.
All right. Well, I think that's a really fabulous note to end on. And I hope that our audience has learned something about the wonderful and diverse and large Malaysian halal market. Again, Malaysia being the global leader in the halal industry, halal market. And if you are interested in attending the MIHAS event or interested in doing business in Malaysia in the halal industry, we will add the links. We will have the links on our website. Join MIHAS in September. The dates are September 9th and 12th. They will also be with us in October for the US Halal Expo and Summit on October 20th and 21st. And it's been a real pleasure to talk with you this morning, our time, or this afternoon, our time, this evening, your time. We're sorry to keep you up so late. And we look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all very much, and we hope to see you.
Thank you.
All right. Take care, and that's the end of our broadcast.